Hi, Andreas from Toddle here, and in honor of our Bad UX hackathon, I thought I would share a small project where I'm trying to build some really bad UX. So the idea I have here is I want to build a password input where you have to type it in with an on-screen keyboard for like an iPad or something. But of course, for privacy reasons, all the buttons on the keyboard should just be labeled with a star. So that's the idea. It's going to be a privacy first, super optimized input, right? So I'm starting here from a blank template. I'm going to just go ahead and delete our root element. And then I'm going to add in, always add in a little wrapper div. And I'm not actually going to add in an input in this case because I don't really want people to be able to type in with the keyboard. Then it's not really bad UX. So we're going to fake it and we're going to make it a span, right? And inside this span, let's just change this. We're going to give this, I'm moving myself over there. We're going to give this a nice light background, something like here, right? And our span here, I'm going to want that to be a width of 300 pixels. That's pretty good. A height of 32 at a max width of 100%. That means if we go responsive, it's still going to work, right? And we're going to add some border radius. Let's give it 6 pixels. We're going to do a little bit of flex layout here. Add some padding. Good old stuff. And of course, a background color. And we're going to make that sort of kind of grayish. Should we go the other way? Make it white? That's actually better. And we'll chuck a little bit of border on it. And again, I think we're going to go with some, oh, there we are. We're going to go with some, maybe a little bit darker gray. How does that look? That looks pretty good. Right. So, finally, of course, we want our text color inside to be gray, but not like dark, but not too dark, right? Okay, and so the idea here is that this sort of is our fake text input. You can't actually type in it. It's just gonna be like a fake one. Yeah, we want to use an on-screen keyboard, but we want to sort of pretend that you can, right? So for now, we want to pretend that you can focus it. And the first thing we're gonna do here is we're gonna keep a variable saying has focus, right? We're gonna start out with a false for that. And the idea is when you click it, we're going to set has focus to true. So like when I go and click this input, right, it'll look like we're focusing. We're faking that interaction, right? And then here I'm going to add on this a new style. Actually, we're going to go and add on my span. We're going to add a class first called has focus. Do the hyphen instead. And that should be has focus our variable here, right? And so when this has our, no, that's not this one. Let's delete that one. Span, when this one has focus, we are gonna give it an outline that is blue. Like this. Okay. Not super happy about that one. Let's try and see if we can do a better outline. A little bit more blue. Like that. All right. Oh, that was way off. And it's going to be 1 pixel. All right. Let's refresh that one. Okay. So when I click this, okay, I get this nice focus effect. That's pretty good. Right, so now that I have my input and I can focus it, the next bit I'm going to want to add is a variable called password, which is going to be holding the actual password, right? And we're going to set this to be an empty string. And the actual value we want to show in here is going to be the number of like characters in the password, but all of them are going to be stars. So what we're going to do here is we're going to say password. And then actually maybe start with a different value. Like that, right? That'll be our password. And then we're going to split that by character like this. And we'll see over here now we got every single character lined up as an array here, right? We're going to map over that. And here we're just going to say star. Boop. And then we can join them all up again. Like this. And what we end up getting is just a string of only stars, right? It doesn't matter what the input was, but it'll have the same length, right? So we now get this nice little span here of all stars and floating it down. Actually, that kind of worked out. Okay, so because of the way the star sets a little bit high, it kind of looks better if it's centered. So we're just going to put that in here. Actually, I think that we need to adjust the line height a little bit. Yeah, a little bit. That worked. Okay. So now we have a password input field, and it's going to type out these dots. We want the password to start on an empty string, so we'll put that there. And my thought is we want to show this on-screen keyboard for typing into it, but we only want to show it when it's focused, right? Before we do that, maybe let's just add a label on top, and it's going to say password, right? And we'll change this color to be something a little bit darker around here, right? That actually looks pretty good. I'm pretty happy with that. Add a little bit of gap. Maybe too much. There we are. Okay, so now we have our password input, right? And when I click it, it's going to look like we focus it, which is what we want. And I think here's where we want to show our on-screen keyboard. So I'm going to add another div. And inside that, I'm going to add my rows of keys, of buttons, right? So I think I'll just do like a list. And in my list, I'll add a button, right? And this button should just have a single character, which is the star, right? And then we can here say, actually, that button should be 32 by 32. Is that a good number? And we'll center it. And again, it doesn't quite center it really weirdly because the text is a bit off. So we'll put it down, and then instead we'll fix our line height to be 110%. That didn't actually fix it at all either. Oh, here we go. That kind of worked. Okay. So now we've got a list, a button, a bunch of buttons here. Let's add a little bit of gap. So we have 32. So we have now one button, right? And what we actually want to do is we want to go and do this whole row based on the, oh, there we go. We want to do a bunch of buttons based on the first sort of top row on a keyboard, right? So I'm currently on a Danish keyboard, so I'm hoping I'll get it right. I'm aiming for an English keyboard layout. But of course, when it starts, you probably, as an end user, won't really know. So what I want to do is I want to repeat this item. Well, first of all, we're going to take this URL. We're going to turn it into a horizontal list. And then I'm going to go and repeat this item. So let's say repeat. And then I'm going to call split. Because what I actually want to do is I want to just type in all the letters. Actually, we'll do a Danish keyboard. It's a bad UX hackathon. It's fine. Right? That's not a problem. And actually, probably my first row should be this one. There we go. Right? So I'm looping through all of these, right? And I'm still just going to type this dot, like star, right? That's the whole idea. Let's go and fix our spacing here. That should be 2 pixels at the most, right? Okay, good. When I click on this one, I want to set my password to be password add, no, oh, sorry, concatenate, and then the item, right? So when I'm clicking here, I'm typing these things, and the actual password is actually going to be the value I'm typing, but of course we won't be able to see it, right? Okay, good. So that was the first. Actually, we should add one button to the end of this, shouldn't we? Because there's a backspace over there that could be super useful. and that's after the tab. So in this case, I'm not going to repeat over this one because it's a special character. Like it needs to delete the last element. So instead, I'm actually just going to copy this up. So we're going to duplicate it. I'm going to clear this repeat. So I just have one button, and this one is, do we want to keep the star? I think we're not going to keep the star. I think we'll make this clear. Backspace is backspace, okay? I think that's okay. Do we not have I think we have one for backspace, do we? Delete. I don't think we really have one for backspace. It's probably called something fancy then. We will just say back. Oof, that's terrible. We're not going to do that. We'll do arrow back. Do we have something good here we can use? We'll just use a regular arrow back for this one. Right, that'll work. In this case, I need to adjust this a bit more because now my, I think actually this might work now. Yeah, okay, good. So we got the first row. Now we're gonna do that again with a new list here, copying that up. The second list, we actually kind of want to do the same. I don't know that we want caps lock. Do we want caps lock? Well, actually, the next row starts with tab. I think we'll ignore tab. So we're just going to say QWERTYUIOP. And then there's a Danish letter in my keyboard, so therefore we're sticking to that. And then this one. Okay. And we're doing the same thing again, right? And this div, let's just add that 2 pixel spacing as well. Now for this one, we should probably add a little bit of indentation on the left. So we'll do this. We actually kind of need this one to end up right about here. That's pretty good. This has one more key, isn't that right? Yeah, it does have one more key. That's why. It's supposed to. Because we missed out a tab. Okay. I think we need to give it a little bit more shove, this one, just to be clear. Because it does start a little bit offset. That's probably fine. We kind of just need to adjust the size of these buttons afterwards. So this one, I think we'll make a little bit wider to fix this. And then this one is gonna be our return key, right? Return, I think we have, yeah, okay. I mean, it's not the greatest icons in the world, but it'll do, right? Good. I mean, we could add tab key here, but I mean, you're not tabbing, are you? No, we don't want to. Okay, good. Got the first 2 rows. We'll do one more. Now we have caps lock. I mean, we could add caps lock. We'll maybe add caps lock later if we want to, but for now we'll not, right? So this one, first of all, needs even more offset to be proper. And then actually we'll still need to adjust these things, but we can do that in a second. Let's go and do the repeat here. Instead of QWERTY, we got A, S, D, F, G, H, J, K, L. Then I've got 2 Danish letters and a apostrophe. Right. And then we actually got enter again over here. But yeah, we'll leave that. Maybe we'll leave that in for sure. Okay, and again, I'm just gonna adjust these up here to sort of fit this sort of size we're doing here, so it lines up pretty well. This one, this button here should be a bit wide as well, just to fit that sort of weird shape. We can always see if we want to make a fancy space like an enter button afterwards, but for now we're not. I don't think we're doing that. Okay, and then the last row down here is gonna be a third one, and this one we actually want to pull back quite a lot from this. I think by the looks of mine, I mean about here. I'm looking at a Apple keyboard, right? I suppose we do need a caps lock because Shift doesn't really work with a mouse, does it? So maybe we do need a caps lock key. Actually, let's go and add that one, right? So in this case, we got one on the end, but we also got one on the top here. And this one is going to be caps. Yeah, okay. I mean, that kind of works, doesn't it? No, it doesn't. Tab. I'm not really getting anything that's particularly good here. Maybe we'll just do a that'll be our, okay, it's a way of saying big letters. I don't know if that's the best thing we've ever done, but that's what we're going for, right? And this button again, we're actually gonna then adjust that all the way down. So we're gonna take our UL, we're gonna completely get rid of this, and we're just gonna adjust the size of this button until it fits what we're going for, right? Kind of here. Now I feel like we kind of do need to fit the other two buttons, but I don't know if we want them to do anything. But just for styling, right? Let's move that up here. I think this one we're probably gonna remove the event from it, and then the styling left. I'm gonna kill that. And this button right here should be a little bit less wide, like this. Here we are, and then we're gonna cut this out entirely. So it'll just be an empty button that doesn't do anything. I'm actually perfectly fine with that. And we'll do the same here. It looks better, right? It didn't really work with the other one, I think we can say. And here, actually, this is kind of the same, but it should be a little bit narrow, at least on my keyboard. So we're gonna nudge it down a bit to here. Okay, and then our final button over here is actually another Shift key. So we're gonna clear, since we can't really use Shift because we don't have multi-touch in this case. So we can't really use that. We'll just make it like a button that doesn't do anything, right? Okay, so we're getting close to our keyboard, right? I'm pretty happy with this. This enter key is weird. So we're gonna delete that one. And instead, we're gonna make this one slightly bigger. So I'm just gonna paint the bottom part, right? It'll be part of my button. So I'll put in a div. I'll make it like, I'll set it to like, what are we setting it to? Top 100%. Right 0. Let's get, it should be width 32 pixels. And then the height should be something like that, right? Oh, and it should be, of course, be absolute. Otherwise, it doesn't make sense. Okay, so the height is probably a bit aggressive now. Let's just give it, I'm going to set the background to inherit, because that means it's going to just take the same color as its parent, right? And then on the parent, on this button, we're just going to quickly fix our border radius, because we want 666 and 0, so that the last one over here doesn't have one. And on our div, we want a border radius of 6 pixels and 6 pixels, right? So now we're kind of almost there. We just need to shimmy it a bit or make it a bit higher. Just doing this by eye, right? So now we get this sort of enter key, and like, okay, we have a little issue where it's not hovering down here. That's because we set it to absolute, but we kind of need to just chuck up the, oh, here we are, set index, so that it's on top of the next row, right? So now we have this little enter key that works and looks just the way it should. Okay, so I think we're doing pretty well. I think we're kind of almost there. We have a few things. We do 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. Have we done all the right letters? Let's just quickly go through this one. This one says ASD. Okay, that's clearly not ASD because that's this one up here. So let's go and change this one down here. That line should be now. I realize, of course, that this is not at all the keys you have on your keyboard wherever you are, and that may make it impossible to put in the correct password input. But I will say, in my defense, it wasn't meant to be good UX. So I'm actually embracing that bit and saying, okay, it's going to be a Danish keyboard underneath, right? Okay, so we've added all this, and now, of course, this last button over here, and if I'm looking on I have a really long shift key here, so that actually makes sense, and I'm just going to make that bigger until we hit the right size, right? This is literally how it looks on my keyboard, so I'm pretty happy with that. Now, let's just double check. I don't want any click events for these ones. That's right. If I click this button right here, I actually want to not add one to my password, but I want to, can I do drop last? I think I can I? Yeah. I want to cut the last one out if we do backspace. Okay. So one thing here is that if I click on this one, right now we don't have a way of tracking caps lock, but we should. So let's add in a variable caps lock. We'll start it out as false. And we'll basically say, actually, maybe that's what we should do here then. Oh, great. I'll grab this text in, and then we'll do like AA, big, or maybe AB, ABC, like this. Okay, that'll be the large text, and then ABC will be the small text. And we'll just show this one if caps lock, burp, and we'll show this one if not caps lock. Right. Okay. And then when I'm clicking this button, I want to set caps lock, and I want to set it to not caps lock, right? So now I can do this all day long, right? Excellent. I'm a little bit considering if the font size should be slightly bigger on these. Could that be? No, that's fine. We want it like this. Okay. So one more thing I need to do is for each of these, whenever I click the button and it fills this in, actually it should do if caps lock, then it do uppercase, else item. Right, I'm just going to copy this because it's the same formula I use. So if the caps lock is pressed, it should go uppercase, of course, right? And we'll do the same here. And we'll do the same here. And we'll do it once more on the lines. Maybe we should have extracted this formula somewhere so we don't have to repeat it 3 times, but I don't want to. The last thing I want to do is I actually only want to show this whole thing, this whole keyboard. I only want to show that if it has focus. And let's give that a shot. Okay, so now we get that in only if it has focus. That's nice. And of course, we want to make this. Let's go and make it absolute. Is that good? And top 100%. No, that was a bit much. Okay, let's do a quick label bump. Okay, we'll put this one up there. And then we'll make it absolute and top 100%. Right. And this password input, that's going to be, okay, we'll make this actually 100% wide. That way. Okay, and why is this so big? That's my big question. Seems to be a lot of space here. What if I... Oh, that's because I do not want it to be 100%. No, I just want to be... Okay. It was that, did I? make that up? No, I didn't. That's why. Okay, back to the drawing board. Okay, we're gonna say with we're gonna put that around here. Doing a bit of layout. Okay, we're gonna hit that right about there. And then we do want this one to be top 100%. Actually, give it a few more. All right. Okay, let's try that again. So now we get our nice input. Oh, that was wrong. Oh, excellent. Okay, so we're pretty much there. I think maybe one little detail just to add for good measure. Let's get this one to sort of animate in a bit, should we? So I'm gonna move myself over. We're gonna set opacity here. The default styles, we're gonna set it to 1, and we're gonna set the translate Y to be minus, let's try 20%. Okay. And then on, nope, that's not what we definitely don't want that to be minus 20%. We want that to be 0, of course. There. And then we're going to add here a starting style to our element. So starting style is actually quite a new thing in the wonderful world of CSS. And it basically says it's the initial style whenever a new element is added to the page. So it means if you're doing transitions, like when you add something, you can sort of transition from that initial styling. So I'll show you how we use it here. I'm going to use this to set opacity to 0. And I'm going to set transform Y to minus 20%. Just moving it up a bit. And then finally, of course, on the default style, we're going to set our transitions. I'm going to add opacity, 300 milliseconds. That's pretty good. And we're going to add another one, which is our translate. Let's refresh that and see. Means we get that nice little effect. I like it. I think that works. It's maybe the translate is not the right effect, to be honest. But I mean, that's fine. No, we'll fix it. We'll fix it. We'll do it right. Instead of translate, we're gonna say scale, and it's gonna be both of them, isn't it? Yeah, it's gonna be both of them. Okay. So first we set scale. We are gonna change the translate here to scale. And then we're gonna go get our starting style, and it's gonna be scale 0.8. That was a miss. Let's try that again. Transform. Right. What did I set for default? Scale 1. Okay. Let's try that. That's better. And no, we can type in our password. Perfect. Thank you for watching. I hope this gave you some inspiration of the kind of things you can build for our Bad UX Hackathon. You can try this one out. I'll do a link to it in the description. I'm really excited to see what you're going to build. Show us some incredibly hilariously bad UX, and you might just win. Thank you.